So in this one, I want to do a little discussion here. Now, this actually could turn into a rant. Some little doomer energy going on because I think Legends is heading a really, really bad spot. I saw a post and it actually made me think of this topic just even be a discussion at any merit, that we have gotten 17 LFs in 2024, while the previous year had, 13. And, the thing is with that, it's like, oh, okay, for a mentality of optimism, you could think, oh, that's positive. We're getting a bigger budget. They're doing more LFs because of said bigger budget. And it's just a great thing for overall stuff. But then you look at the quality of them. And so we start from GT Goku, right? It doesn't actually feel like we've gotten 17 LFs. It's like, yes, that's accurate. 4, 8, 12, 16, 17. Accurate. But there's no feel behind it. What I mean is, yet again, the quality of these LFs. Let's be honest with ourselves here. And we're going to take a look at 2023 LFs to kind of compare it. The quality is, so this we remove because the quality is bad. So that's 16 LFs, right? If these units weren't very good on this release, because LFs have this expectation. There's a goal line set for an LF on drop, whether it be during festival or not. There's a higher goal line if you're a festival or not. And then there's a lower goal line if you're a non-LF. You're less, you're 1%. LFs have a goal line of hitting bare minimum, I wouldn't say even top 8. I would say they'd love to be able to spot this 7 through 10 mold, or 7 through 1 rather. So 1 through 6, they want to be there. Bare minimum 7. If we're being a little courteous, because the last 3 were like the top 5, and then this one comes out and he's like the bottom, but like he's 8 through 10, but he's barely making it. Sure, we can have that from time to time. But we've gotten so many that aren't even making top 10 for a lot of people. And why does that matter? Because these are the premium releases of the year. You're obviously intended to pull for these banners because they're better value. Because the unit from there is more, better just than the previous. Like, this guy was terrible. He was terrible. He still is terrible. Nothing fixed him. They gave him whatever equipment it's like the Goku Black equipment. It's just like, yeah, woo, we exist. Actually, Goku Black's equipment is better, but this they actually like teased and like glazed and it did nothing. There should never, and I mean this wholeheartedly, but it's a gacha, so I understand from sometimes if it doesn't happen, actually should happen less in a gacha, to be fair. But there should never be a time where I can have an older character be better than a newer character. And we've had this multiple times. Matter of fact, there's only some sequences of goodness that come from it, where it's like, oh, well, this guy would be in good aging sense in front of our eyes here, right? Baby, it was good aging sense. But in initial release, Super 17 existed. Not Final Flash, Super 17 existed, so it was a little scary to run them. And we just keep going through the list. Nap Jita, they were run on like glazed Frieza Force with Ultra Golden, and then you could do like LFs or whatever, whoever the third was at that point. And they were, I didn't even play them, but I remember them being rated very low on tier list, like 8, 9, 10. So there's 2 releases that pretty much are irrelevant already. Then we keep going, and it actually just gets worse. Like, for God's sake, this guy aged terribly. He was like the Super 17 wall, because health star debuffs, so this guy would not heal ever, and health star debuffs really hurt this guy a lot. Because that first life just health star debuff, and then go through it. It's very easy to do. But he was Super 17 wall, and he aged like ass. It's not like we got some broken greens that came after him, because we didn't. Look at it here. We got Ultra Gohan. That's literally it. We got one green character. This GT Goku aged like ass. But then you keep looking, and we got this. I mean, I don't have to touch on why this is a bad release, but I guess I can a little. Look who dropped right next to him. Ulton. Look who dropped right after that. UG4. So we got 1, 2, 3 releases already that have really had no full relevancy. Final Flash to the most degree. Nap Jita was just on a little glazed team, and realistically, did you need Nap Jita there? Were they doing anything so expository to where it's like, yeah, Nap Jita's the one to do? No, they were just the new character, so just slot them on the team. Hey, why not? But you didn't need Nap Jita, just there. They just existed. And then you got God Goku, who, again, with no need to explain, got Legends, because The Legends just didn't like him. I mean, for God's sake, we want to talk about an aging thing again. I don't think units are intended to age well in this game, besides very few exceptions per year, Baby being one of those. And I assume GT Goku was intended to be one, but they failed because the Legends likes to fail things, apparently. But this, bro, on initial drop, they were great. They were great. But then we get this time and time that passes, and well, auto gauges, they exist still, but they, as an auto gauge anti, do not exist. They failed their role, they were a test subject, and got treated like losers. And going through on, it just gets even more common as we continue off. I mean, for God's sake, the newest releases even have this problem. This guy, now I think he was a little bit overhated, to be fair. I don't think he was that terrible, but regardless, he's a failure in the eyes of Legends and the eyes of most people, because what was his intent? If this Broly was actually good and, like, great, you know, we're talking, like, fusing SV on initial drop, we're talking the new Daima Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, what we're talking as good as them on initial drop, this Broly, wow, where we'd be right now in the current meta of UMV, because we are still in the UMV meta. That means we have failed, by the way. It means, well, we have not failed. That means Legends has failed. They have failed to make a counter, because they obviously like to make counters. They drop Namek Goku, Janemba, they drop Cooler for USV. They love to make counters to their broken characters. They adore that. For God's sake, look at Triku, look at UMV, 2G4. They adore selling the counter to this, selling a solution to the problem. This was their selling of the future problem. This Broly came out. Broly is a lot older than MV at this point, and he kinda, sorta, barely, not really, did his role. I mean, for God's sake, he literally has an anti-switch mechanic that gauges ignore. Like, when he dropped, you could just go to UG4 with the full gauge and make this Broly's entire being of what he's meant to do irrelevant. And obviously, with us having more anti-gauges and us having whatever the hell else we're going to get, yes, that still is a relevant thing, because he should have been as good as the other guys. This guy being a subpar unit, don't even get me started on MV canceling buff effects on blue cards, because that hurts his Broly, obviously. But, like, this Broly is a catalyst to why we're where we are. It's a negative spot. This is terrible. I'm doing this video with that PvP. Clearly, it's a terrible spot. I do not want to play in any regard of PvP unless it's for new stuff that comes out. No, I do not, because it is so ass. This Broly is a catalyst to one of those situations we're in. He actually is a reason, because why was he so subpar compared to, look at Triku. Triku initial drop, yeah, he wanted Turles, but he was fine. He was doing okay enough. What happened? Gotenks, amazing. And then we look at the next four. Well, there's a little bit of a problem up there, but, you know, comparably, Broly to the next 6 releases is the lower end of all of them. And it just doesn't make sense why Broly is in this spot. This is what I'm talking about, where it doesn't feel like we've gotten 17. You got Broly, you got God Goku, you got Fusing GB after a little bit of time, you got GT Goku after a little bit of time, you got Super Vegeta after a little bit of time, Nap Vegeta as well. That's fucking 6 LFs already. I'm not even done. That have felt just, sure, they're in the game, sure, maybe a month or two they're pretty good, but that's it. But that's not the intent of LFs. That's not at all. Again, we're going to continue through 2024, then touch on 2023, and I'll explain what I mean, the intent of LFs. Triku, sure, whatever, he wanted Turles. Okay, I could give him leeway because Turles dropped very soon after. It's not like we had to wait 5 months for Turles. Turles was just a couple weeks. So, Triku, I'll give you leeway. I really shouldn't, but I will, because Triku had a good foundation. He was obviously waiting for a partner. Sure, have that. Gotenks, he was great, no discussion. Vegito, he's toxic, but yes, he's great, so there's that. Goku Black, I think it's very obvious to point out, they have done the same thing they did with God Goku 6 months later to Goku Black. Matter of fact, they did it even worse to Goku Black, because now you got Daima Goku. Fun fact, Goku Black does not cancel buff effects on blue cards, so Daima Goku does a lock-in blue that nullifies endurance because of the green card, and guess what? Goku Black has to just deal with it. Oh, okay, sure, why not? I mean, why would that be a problem? Oh, because also Gotenks exists, also Shin exists, also CMZ exists, also Mai exists. All these reds that can just nullify endurance with really no hesitation, and not even just on specific moves, These others, Gotenks, CMZ, Mai, they do it on general moves. They all do it on general moves. You just have to click a button, main ability or whatever, and you just nullify endurance. It's a great trait for them. Good aging for those characters. But that is destroying Goku Black. This character, I don't even think being yellow is the problem. I think what they did to where MV is so overpoweredly canceling effects that Goku Black is not doing as well or as much just hinders this guy. Like, this guy was already hindered. Again, look at part 1. People were not liking Goku Black. I think he was okay. He wasn't great. He was okay, right? He was culpable. Now, you're running Goku Black, it's like you're doing a suicide mission. Like, realistically, there is no gain. You're not running into purples, so there's no reason to run him there. Then, as well as that, you're just hurting yourself by making this character put anywhere on your roster. It's like using Sword of Hope right now. Sword of Hope, before part 2, was a great pick because he got his plat, and there was only a couple days there, but, you know, he still was a great pick, and that was a couple of days. It was like a week. And he was a great option. But now that we have 2 more endurance nullifiers, and one of them's a green yet again, Sword of Hope was, you know, a little hazy in part 1, sure, but he was still fine. But now that we have another green, which makes no sense to get another green, by the way, which I'll talk about Super Saiyan Goku, because he's also part of this problem, you can't even run him now. And they've just done this where they just keep countering out their newest buffed characters, like whether it be a literal new character, Goku Black, or a new buffed character, Sword of Hope. It's like, what are we doing? Like, I expect the newest Ultra to be blue to hurt Daima Goku. I don't even know why. It just, because they just did what they did, it's like, why not set it up for that? Which is, why not? Daima Goku barely neutrals. Why not set it up against them? Easy money. As if though Daima Goku's a problem and they're selling a solution. That doesn't even make any sense, because there's no problem with Daima Goku, really, comparably to other shit. And then, you got Daima Super Saiyan 3. Daima's fine, no problem with him. But Super Saiyan 3, why are we making carbon copies of characters and just downgrading? That is essentially what he is. It just doesn't make sense. For one, his color. This color doesn't add up. Honestly, Super Vegeta's color doesn't add up either. Why are we doing these colors? They're so odd. They're really odd. God Goku's color doesn't add up. Super Vegeta's color doesn't add up. Broly, I guess, kind of, because Triku was yellow, but even then, should Triku have even been yellow? I don't know. Probably not. Like, why is this Super Saiyan 3 Goku green? It's not like, oh, because of the curse of green. Like, no, I'm genuinely thinking of a reason. There's none. We did not need a new green. Omega is fine. Runnable. You got Vegito, who is him, and then you got Ultra Gohan and whatever else green. Like, that's okay. We got 3 greens that are runnable. Sure, let us be. That's fine. Dog, help be yellow. Like, I know people are like, but UMV exists. Okay. That's the only character that you're running as a yellow? Please give us more options? And you're going to say, oh, but why would you run something that's not UMV? Because in the future, when they counter UMV actually successfully for once, you're going to want to run the other yellow. Why are we doing green? Why? We're just setting up for this Ultra being a purple or a blue, for one, to destroy 2-part characters, if it's a purple, Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Vegito, or we're setting up to be a blue unit to destroy Daima Goku and Gotenks, as if they even have any, like, problem within themselves. And it just doesn't make sense. They're selling, again, I can tell you it's going to be blue or purple, most likely. If it's not, I'm shocked 100%. But they're trying to sell solutions when we don't even have a solution to the actual problem. And this is why these LFs don't feel like they have impact. Super Saiyan 2 Goku is the worst Vegito. There's not enough impact there. Yes, he's even top 5. I agree with you. I'm not standing against that. But he's still not needed. This Broly is not needed. God Goku, not needed. Final Flash, not needed. GT Goku, realistically, was not needed. Napchita, not needed. And it's like, why? Why have we sold these characters in such a regard where you just make them so unnecessary? Let's go to 2023, right? So 2023 goes from Goku Bardock all the way until MVP 17. So we'll go from MVP all the way up. And we'll see a comparison of, what was it, at least 6 characters, at least 6 in 2024 that realistically, you think of it in a full vacuum, just unnecessary, just extra LF fluff that didn't need to exist. Reminder, there's 17 in 2024 and there's 13 in 2023. So MVP, 100% needed. He was an Asian character. You want to compare him to like a Baby-esque or Super 17-esque? Sure, compare him to them. No problem. I have no issue with that. Yes, he was not as needed on drop because, you know, UGB was running around, ranged units were not allowed to do anything, so that was a bit of a problem. Sure, but he obviously was the Asian guy. He looked like a good Asian character in kit. It was just, please give his team buffs, and then we'll actually be okay with this. So he's chilling. Rev UI, no, he's out. Same issue. I mean, they keep doing this. They did this. Omega Shenron dropped when UG4 had just released, and literally the same thing with Rev UI. He dropped just a little bit later, but he was the month after of MVP, which was the month before, or rather, right after UGB. So what was the premise of a green ranged unit to drop? I guess he has even stats, sure, but you dropped the green ranged unit when UGB was number 1? No, that's an irrelevant release. So we got 1. Then you look at the Boo Duo, we got 2. Boo Duo were trash. I mean, this is more not even the fault of, hey man, you know, these kits aren't just underwhelming, these kits are just weird. Like, the Boo Duo being a test unit is the same thing as fusing Gogeta Blue, so you want to put, like, Super Vegeta as Rev UI, and then fusing Gogeta Blue as Boo Duo. I mean, for God's sake, that's just the most accurate representation you could give. Now we move on to actual good stuff from 2023, which is, honestly, a lot of it. Goku Frieza. Yes, they were hurt on drop because they were not as good. They got buffed. They got buffed. Goku Black could have got buffed. God Goku could have got buffed. They didn't get buffed. Goku Frieza got buffed. Okay, fine with them. Good release. They need to happen. Things were kind of getting stale with where we were at. So give me a new top tier character. I'm down. Orange Piccolo. Orange Piccolo falls in the same vein as Nap Vegeta to me. You can or can't count them. Up to you. I would say, though, if you're going to compare Nap Vegeta to Orange Piccolo is much more of a character you wanted than a character you needed in Nap Vegeta. Both of them filled their own role of being a safety, sure, but realistically, did you need either? Probably not. They were okay. They were both okay. They were both top 10, but they weren't that great. You didn't really need them at all. Look at Goku Frieza. There's a purple there. So, yeah, Orange Piccolo was not too great. Gammas, they aged pretty well. So we'll give some kudos to them, as well as just their teams were pretty nice. Cell was very strong. If you don't remember, Cell was strong alongside UVB. Cell actually could run a Strike or Blast Up, so you either ran Androids with him or you ran him with UVB. You could do whatever, Future or Androids. You can have fun with that. So that was great. So far we got three mediocres, and then we got 4 of the good so far. So we're just trying to get the ratio correct here. Namek Goku. Initially, this is a GT Goku thing we could kind of compare this to, was very, very strong. He was a UVB counter, and he did well enough. I wouldn't say he killed UVB, because he did not. Janemba did that. But Namek Goku did a pretty well job. Obviously, he aged ass, but hey, you know what? At least initial droppage, if I compare, let's say, Namek Goku to what I guess you could say Triku was, both were meant to do the LF role of hurting that newest Ultra, right? That was the intent behind them. The Anniversary Ultra was supposed to be hurt by these 2 characters. Namek Goku, in a full vacuum, did that better than Triku. So I guess I give credit to Namek Goku. I'm really kind of just, getting my bias out there. But I'll give credit to Namek Goku. He did his role well. He aged ass. But at least he had significance when he dropped. Triku did not have as much significance on initial drop as Namek Goku. So I give that to Namek Goku there. Path to Power, a similar vibe. They actually nerfed him, is the issue with him, where, I mean, they made Dragon Ball rate go slower. Now, obviously, people don't believe this, because Dragon Ball rate, you know, feels like it's very fast from time to time, but they did nerf it, so he got nerfed, so he was strong, but he was so strong they had to nerf him, essentially. I guess we'll give that to, like, a bad thing, but I feel like that's a positive, because he was that good. They had to hurt him. I remember week 1 of this guy dropping, and it was like 3-star Path to Power destroying like my 14-star like Namek Goku. I'm just like, oh, how the hell is that happening? But because he was so strong. Pikkon was just a better Orange Piccolo, so that was good. That was just a good drop. Evo Ken, pretty good drop. I would say, obviously they got deterred, but in a general sense, let's compare Evo Ken to, let's say, God Goku as both Part 1 characters, 6 months apart from one another, or rather, just anniversary characters of celebrations, festival, or an anniversary. But let's compare to God Goku, who dropped a little bit later in that time frame, 6 months later, and guess what? Evo Ken actually had something they could do on drop, despite Path to Power being such a strong purple prior. despite Cell being such a strong purple power, and Goku Frieza, and obviously you can see the blues there in Goku Frieza as well, and Anime Goku being at least competent, Evil Ken could still coexist and do a good job. Again, I'm not saying these units in 2023 have aged like Jesus comparably, but they at least could do more on initial drop than the likes of Super Vegeta, God Goku, Broly, and then just more so from there. Nap Vegeta, again, etc. on these points. Even GT Goku, he just was good on drop for like a month, and he would even stop the red that came after him because he was not that strong. And then you got Beast and Goku Bardock, which I don't have to talk about. Goku Bardock were amazing. Beast was amazing. It's a Gohan, no shocker there. So you look at the full spectrum, it feels like we got an equivalent amount of LFs of irrelevancy to relevancy between the 2 years. It does. Despite the fact 2024 had 4 more LFs, when I compare these two, I see Bujo, I see Orange Piccolo, I see Rev UI. All right, let's compare that. I see Broly, I see Goku Black, I see Final Flash. But then there's even more filler characters, essentially, of GT Goku, of Nap Vegeta, of Super Saiyan 3 just being a carbon copy worse off Vegito. Again, that's not calling Super Saiyan 3 bad, it's just saying what it is. He is a worse Vegito. Why do you need him when you have Vegito? There's no point to that. But my whole point of this entire video is they're just fluffing. They're just wasting time. Look at these LFs that I've mentioned, and it's just compare. Just compare. It feels like such a more necessity to pull for anything from this year. People knew not to pull for certain things, by the way. People knew not to sell, like, really, you're going to sell for Rev UI when we got UGB running around? Like, let's be serious now. But it's like, people knew. Here, you couldn't predict anything. Broly, it seemed like, okay, something's going to happen where, like, Broly's going to be very much a necessity. Then Triku happened. Oh, it's for Triku. No. It was intended for the future because no other red was strong enough. And then guess what? That intent for the future completely fell on its face. You look at Triku. Well, Triku's obviously intended for a purple that already exists. Triku was fine against UG4. Sure. Did he murder his soul? No. But he did fine. But again, I'm pretty sure the intent of some of these characters is to do much better than they actually, well, do on drop. And I don't know why we haven't gotten buffs of characters. Broly, like, honestly, Broly should have got a buff. Goku Black should have got a buff. God Goku should have got a buff. And that's it. I guess that's it. But all these characters should have got a buff. They were not good enough. Again, you look at what happened here. Goku Frieza got a buff. They needed a buff. Guess what? They got a buff. Congratulations. Wow. Rocket science. I know. Crazy. But that literally incentivizes people to summon because their character just got a buff. And yet they just miss the mark and never do it. They give Final Flash whatever the shitty-ass plat he got is. It's a good equipment, but it's not a fucking good enough equipment for Final Flash to be fixed. They give Goku Black whatever equipment he got, which is a good equipment, but again, not enough to fix him. And it just doesn't make sense why we're wasting LF space. Like, yes, I understand money. Crazy, motive there. But really, I'm trying to think of like an actual design standpoint. The LFs we've gotten in quality have just gone down. It's just been worse. Because we could say, yeah, they have about the equivalent amount of irrelevant LFs, but that's the thing. We got 4 extra, so they should have had a better quality rating if they're going to drop so many more extra. That is 4 extra months of banners, essentially. Just stacked into double banners, obviously. But that's a third of the year of newer LFs than the previous year. And despite that, we got 6 through 7 LFs in 2024 that are just, not just talking right now, I'm talking in a general aging sense and general drop sense. Whatevers, nothings, nobodies, they'll never be anybody's until they get a Zenkai Plat, and it just doesn't make sense for an actual gameplay and, well, game standpoint. You want to drop good stuff for your players, and then they drop all these LFs that they did, and it's like, who asked you to drop 17 LFs in a year? Who? Not us. I guess your higher ups up there. You did terrible sales comparably on those 17 LFs, by the way. So I don't even know what the incentive is. They didn't even do that much better sales. You can look at the sales. The sales are not that much higher than 2023 a total than a current 2024 total of LFs. They're not. Look it up. I promise you, they're not. I think this is just a silly thing they're doing. And you know what the best part is? We're probably going to get like 20 LFs next year in total. 20. I'd be shocked if it's not more. Probably, I'll say 20. I just wish they would give better quality to these LF units, because there's intent behind each one. Each one has a role that they're meant to fill. You know, if using Gogeta Blue, stop auto gauges. Broly, stop these incoming yellows that are going to be very strong that we already pre-made. Goku, be a carbon copy of Vegito. I don't know why that's your intent, but sure, that's your intent. I just hope they get over this little hurdle of being, well, for lack of a better term, dumb, and we actually get LFs that fill different roles. Like MVP filled a role that's, let's say, I don't know, Goku Frieza weren't filling, but they could run together. Or you got Namegoku filling a role that Red Beast is really good aging. Or you got Pikkon filling a role that's just better than Piccolo. And it's like, yeah, they're trying to fill the same thing, but at least one is actually doing it better than the other. And also Pikkon could be built blast or strike based. Piccolo is just strike based. See how there's different roles within it. Why do I have carbon copy Vegito number 1, then carbon copy Vegito number 2 that's downgraded as new releases within a month to one another? Do you see how that's just lazy and nonsensical? And don't get me started, some of these animations in 2024 are amazing, but some, holy shit, a toddler could make better. Let me know what you guys think of my thoughts here. I'll see you guys in the next one.